This trip was supposed to be about wedding venues. Instead, it turned into something completely different. I decided that while we were here, I was going to say yes to everything, even the things that scared me. The original plan for going to Costa Rica was to look at wedding venues after we got engaged. But pretty quickly we realized it would probably be too long of a trip for a lot of our guests. We're coming from Boston and we had to take a connection and drive quite a bit from there. So instead of turning around and making it purely logistical, we shifted gears. We decided to use this trip as a reset, to get out of our routine, to immerse ourselves in nature, to try things we normally wouldn't try. Or at least I know I wouldn't. And I told myself, no overthinking, just say yes. And that's exactly what made this trip so impactful for us. The first thing that hit me was how green everything was. Like, aggressively green. Being surrounded by that much nature felt like a literal breath of fresh air. I didn't realize how used to constant noise I had gotten, constant movement, constant doing. And seeing a sloth in the wild, that felt pretty unreal. It was so interesting to see how slow, happy, and just at one with nature it was. It sounds dramatic, but it made me feel so relaxed inside and so small in the best way. Being surrounded by that much greenery and nature was the biggest contrast to my everyday life. I was so used to the city and the movement, and this really healed a part of me that I didn't even know needed to pause. Kayaking through all of that greenery felt freeing. Just water, mountain, trees, birds, no notifications, no rushing. It felt like my nervous system finally just exhaled. One of my favorite days was the chocolate and coffee tour. I love learning, and I love chocolate, and I love coffee, so this experience absolutely just tickled my brain. We learn about how cacao is grown, is processed, and I realized I had completely misunderstood what good chocolate even meant. Same with coffee. I thought I knew what I liked. I drink it every single morning until I tasted it prepared traditionally. And now I drink dark roast, and I go to a local coffee store for coffee beans. I also ended up buying a Vandola after learning that brewing method, and I use it every single day now. It completely changed how I experience coffee. That day reminded me how much I enjoy slowing down and understanding where things come from. It made everything feel more intentional. Okay, the hanging bridges. I am petrified of heights. Like, genuinely. The first few steps were terrifying. The first few bridges were terrifying. But I told myself through every single step, focus on your breathing. Take it one step at a time. Look at the view, not the drop. And before I knew it, I wasn't freaking out anymore. I was just there. Snorkeling was something I wasn't even planning on doing. The thought of keeping my head underwater like that? Absolutely not. But then I thought, you said yes to everything else. So I threw myself in. My fiancé Voltaire helped me learn a few things, and eventually, after trial and error, I actually did it. It wasn't graceful, but I did it. And I saw some pretty cool things along the way.
I saw a fish.
Nice.
Paddleboarding was scary to me for a different reason. Balance. I hadn't done it in a while, and I was convinced that I was going to fall. So I kind of purposefully fell. And once I was in the water, I realized, oh, that wasn't so bad. So I got back on, and I stayed up for a while. It was definitely a core and leg workout though. I felt that a lot the next day. The sunset on the Catamaran might have been my favorite moment of the whole trip. It was one of those sunsets that makes you stop mid-sentence. Like everyone just naturally goes quiet for a second because you don't want to miss it. The sky kept changing colors, pinks, oranges, purples, and the ocean looked like it was glowing. Everything just felt still. For a few minutes, it felt like the world slowed down, and I don't know how to explain it exactly, but I felt this deep appreciation for being alive, for being there in that exact moment, for getting to experience something so simple but so beautiful, for this season of life, being engaged, traveling together, figuring out what the next chapter is going to look like. It felt really special. For part of the trip, we stayed at the Springs Resort while we were also looking at it as a potential wedding venue. And they actually upgraded us to a suite, which was such a great surprise. At night, you could hear the birds and animals chirping outside, all of these little jungle sounds that you don't hear in everyday life. It felt magical. Sitting in the hot springs surrounded by steam, jungle sounds, I felt completely present. The warm water, the cool night air, the sound of the forest around us. It was one of those moments where you realize you're not thinking about anything else. No rushing, no planning, no worrying about what's next. Just being exactly where you are. I think I forgot how important that is. This trip started as something logistical. We came here thinking about wedding venues and trying to figure out what the future might look like. But it became something else entirely. It became a reminder to step outside of routine, to try things that scare me a little, and to say yes to experiences that pull me out of my comfort zone. This trip reminded me that I want to be someone who says yes, not recklessly, but bravely. Yes to trying new things. Yes to slowing down. Yes to being uncomfortable sometimes. Yes to being fully present in the moment. Because those are the actual moments that end up meaning the most. And maybe that's what this season of life is really about. Figuring out how to live a little more intentionally.